Ladies and gentlemen, the DOJ has accused Trump of likely hiding classified data for some kind of crime. Likely. Okay. And they even have a photo of top secret intel that Trump had along with Time Magazine, framed Time Magazine covers. But he likely committed crimes according to the DOJ, which is hilarious because he was in communication and negotiating the return of all of this data as a former president with the power to declassify top secret intelligence. So he had the power to declassify data. He had the data lawfully obtained as president of the United States of America. And we all know he wanted a library like any president. The interesting thing is if he was hiding all of this from the Department of Justice and National Archives, why on earth would he be negotiating for the past 2 years and giving them access to the data? They even looked at some of the boxes, or I think a majority of the boxes already in June. And he gets a thank you note from the same counterintelligence officer that now accuses him of likely hiding information. So here, this is CNN. Justice Department says classified documents in Mar-a-Lago were likely concealed and removed to block investigation. Investigation into what? Clinton siphoned top secret and special access program intelligence onto servers. Nobody knows how. We know how Trump obtained these documents. And no reasonable prosecutor would indict, according to Comey, even though there were potential violations of the law, according to Comey. The link is below in the description. Hit subscribe, by the way, to this channel right now. And hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel and also H.A. Goodman's other channel. Quote, U.S. government documents were likely concealed and removed from a storage room at Mar-a-Lago as part of an effort to obstruct the Bureau's investigation into former President Donald Trump's potential mishandling of classified material. The Justice Department said in a blockbuster court filing Tuesday night. How is this blockbuster? He was the former president of the United States of America. He wasn't the Secretary of State siphoning and transferring illegally, by the way, and I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. I think we need that for a number of reasons. But I'd vote for Trump, obviously, because I want record highs in household median income. Okay, here's why you vote for Trump. Okay, in addition to understanding that the Bureau and every government agency and all of media and Jimmy Kimmel and all of late, as they're all after this man, and they can't possibly get him on anything. He's the president of the United States of America. He had the right to own any classified document. Furthermore, it was lawfully obtained, so he didn't illegally transfer the top secret data onto servers. And how that siphoning took place, nobody knows. Nobody knows how Clinton obtained classified data, on how she was able to email people with classified or discussing classified top secret topics on networks outside of the United States government, how she had access to the U.S. government networks, but nobody in the U.S. government had access to her servers. How is that possible? But here, more than 320 classified documents have now been recovered in Mar-a-Lago. So what? He was president for 4 years. I think that he obtained more than 320 classified documents. You could say, well, he shouldn't have had them outside the U.S. government. Yeah, but he didn't have servers. This is like hilarious. The Justice Department, the servers, if you have all that data on a cell phone, the whole planet could hack into the cell phone, which is almost certainly what happened with Clinton. And now they're doing an intelligence community assessment. But they didn't do an intel community assessment on Clinton. Okay, here's the double standard. It's a double standard, my God almighty. See, the thing is, if you don't know anything about politics, you think that Trump is the epicenter of corruption. They're after him for things that he didn't do. So you can go ahead and say, well, you know what, we're going to prosecute him. He claims he declassified everything. You'd have to prove he didn't declassify. You'd have to prove that there was intent to commit some kind of crime and hide this data for some kind of nefarious purpose. But they haven't even stated that. They haven't even leaked that information. They don't even know the nefarious criminal purpose or intent. They just say, well, he had it, but everybody, he was negotiating with the National Archives for a year, and the Department of Justice and the FBI. But here, Tuesday's filing represents the Justice Department, including more than 100 in the FBI search earlier this month. More than 320 classified documents are now okay. The Justice Department revealed the new startling new details as part of its move to oppose Trump's effort to intervene in the federal investigation and his desire for a special master. They should have a special master. They obtained documents, attorney-client privilege. They obtained a whole bunch of documents. So, Trump has pushed an incomplete and inaccurate narrative. Yeah, right. This is the day. Today, we all learned that a Federal Bureau of Investigation official resigned for covering up Hunter's laptop story. And he was one of the people who told social media companies like Facebook and others, Twitter, not to allow discussion. This is the democracy that these people care so much about. Okay? So, it presents a strong rebuttal of criticism. No, it doesn't. The issue of classified data is, not a problem. He was a former president with access. He obtained the data legally as president. He declassified it. If he didn't declassify the data correctly, that could be a problem, but then you're going to prosecute him? So you've set the precedent by prosecuting Trump, and you've ignored, so that's for future presidents you're going to prosecute the same way? And you've ignored the precedent you set with Clinton, where she had servers outside of the U.S. government siphoning classified data for 4 years on a digital cybersecurity nightmare? But here, at issue is Trump's compliance with a grand jury issued in May demanding that he turn over classified documents from Mar-a-Lago. Prosecutors said Tuesday that some documents were likely removed from a storage room before Trump's lawyers examined the area while they were trying to comply. The timeline is essential because Trump's lawyers told investigators that they searched the storage area and that all classified documents were accounted for. OMG! So they made a mistake! Indict! Imprison him! Meanwhile, Hunter is taking pictures of his you-know-what, and weighing illegal narcotics and doing things with people who could easily be spies for other countries, and setting up meetings for Joe. And not only are there kickbacks, but there's an established quid pro quo relationship with a whole bunch of different shady individuals and corporations serving as fronts for other government intel agencies. But oh my God, the Presidential Records Act makes it clear that the United States has complete ownership. The Presidential Records Act doesn't even have an enforcement mechanism or even a fine. There isn't even, much less prison, a sentence. So it's if you had already indicted Clinton, then yeah, I could maybe understand people, the DOJ indicting Trump, maybe. Even though he's a former president, you could say, well, the precedent was already set with Clinton. You can't have servers, obviously. And so if you're going to be that, if you are going to go after Trump and indict him for classified data, by the way, as a former president with the power to declassify almost anything, then you should have had a precedent where you indicted a Secretary of State. You don't indict, if the precedent has already been set that you don't indict a lower level official, but you indict the president now, does that make any sense at all? Trump has argued that his constitutional rights have been violated. They were. You don't go from negotiating with Trump to breaking into Mar-a-Lago. Here, those redacted documents reveal the search was connected to the DOJ investigation. Alleged violation of the Espionage Act, right. The Espionage Act is, we have 30,000 deleted emails with Clinton. She was siphoning classified data outside of the U.S. government. It's not about but her emails, it's but top secret intelligence on servers for 4 years, that were unencrypted for a while. I mean, what do you think's worse? What do you think is worse? There's a limited amount of data within those boxes. And he was a former president with the power to declassify. And he was negotiating. Clinton had Secret Service that nobody knew of. So he wants a special master. And then, but here's the hilarious thing. They say likely. So this is what the issue is. They use the word likely. The government documents were likely concealed and removed. Likely. They have no clue. They're just grasping at straws. Likely concealed and removed. The man has been negotiating with them, and they say, well, we found more classified data than he told us. Okay, well, that type of thing happens when you're negotiating. They could be wrong. The lawyers might say, no, we told them the accurate number. So this is all a public relations stunt. Same as always. They don't want a special master. They said they reviewed everything. And you have to ask how much data was already reviewed that had no business being reviewed. This is the same day that everybody finds out that a bureau official was forced out because he hid the Hunter Biden story. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe.